This week, we continue with the reading of Judges, chapters 15 through 18. The story of Samson and Delilah is included in the read. What an unbelievable life he had. When life is motivated by retaliation, the consequences are usually painful. Responding to Samson's anger, his intended father-in-law retaliated by giving away Samson's bride. Then Samson retaliated by burning the Philistines' harvest. And the Philistines, in turn, burned the bride and her father. You can't make this up. In the end, who finally won? Had Samson been a spiritual man and not just a fighter, he could have led his people forth to victory. But he preferred to work alone and not as a leader of a crusade. He did not use his strength in the appropriate manner. Had he prayed earnestly for character as he did for physical help, he would have been a better man and a more successful judge. Like the prodigal son, he prayed, "Give me." But he never did pray, "Make me." Chapter 16 tells the story of Samson and Delilah. She played a minor role in Samson's life, but her effect was devastating, for she influenced him to betray his special calling from God. Although he could strangle a lion, he could not smother his burning lust and see Delilah for who she really was. Her unfaithfulness to Samson brought ruin to him and to her people. In the end, God still loved him and was willing to hear Samson's prayer of confession and repentance and use him for a final time. No matter what you have done or how long you have been away from our God, He is ready to hear from you and restore you to a right relationship. The final chapters of Judges show Israel falling into idolatry, moral decline, and petty fighting. Israel, the nation, was to set the example for spiritual living, but instead they had become morally depraved. We find this in the final 2 chapters of the week's read, where we see that everything in the house of a man named Micah had violated the law of God. What a vivid example of do-it-yourself religion. Chapter 17 closes out the week with a story about the tribe of Dan. They needed land, and instead of fighting for it, they looked for it in the north, where resistance from the enemy wouldn't be so tough. It was while they were traveling north that some of their men passed Micah's home. They saw the idols, which soon became the focus of their worship. We as Christians must proclaim the mightiness of God our Father. Godliness cannot be merely a claim. It must be a reality in our motives and in our actions. Devotions that correspond with each of the chapter reads are written this week by Jeannie and Dolores. Friday is a day left open for you to pause and pray for our judges and our governmental leaders. Next week, we finish out the book of Judges. You will have to check in and see, because Biblical Shakers makes reading the Bible way more enjoyable for you. I pray the Lord will put a hunger on your heart